Hey guys, we're live. So I hope everyone who was commenting and whatnot yesterday will be free to join because I'm ridiculously excited about this new treat that I got in the post for myself yesterday, all the way from America. As you all know, my absolute favorite RWS is the one by Jamie Sawyer, the Sawyer Redux edition. So you've heard the story a million times. She redrew them, cleaned up the lines, fixed the colors and that kind of thing. Here's the backs with a beautiful mandala with her sigil, which is her initials. So that deck she put back up on Kickstarter a few weeks ago. And unfortunately, a few days ago, hey Maya, unfortunately, a few days ago, she sent an email. It didn't fund fully, so she will be redoing it in the new year. So excited for that because I wanted to get the mini version of this. This is my absolute favorite, but I have teeny tiny hands. I know they don't look tiny on screen, obviously, but they're. So I was really looking forward to the mini version. But when I left my job a few weeks ago, as you know, my boss surprised me with a lovely little treat of some extra money to get myself something nice. So I purchased something amazing. Now, this is a bag that I got from that same boss a few years ago, and I couldn't decide what tower deck I wanted to put into it. Turns out this new treat fits perfectly into it. I should say, hey, Steph, as well, because oh no, Steph isn't with you, Maya. Sorry, I forgot. So I have this beautiful bag for my new treat. And what I want to show you is this amazing, and I'll bring my guest in a minute. So this is the box from my new treat. So it's the SAWYER REDUX tiles. And I got the hexagonal ones because she does have rectangular ones as well. So she has this amazing wooden box with designs, the mandalas all around the sides. The information is engraved on the back. The top comes off like this. It's absolutely fantastic box that they come in. And I'm going to show, hey, Frank is here. The box is amazing, Maya. You should see it in real life. When you come down to Cove to visit me, you'll see it in real life, Maya. So I'm going to bring in my surprise guest, guys, because it's time. Hey, Fatima. So without further ado, I'd like you to introduce you to the creator of these amazing tiles, Jamie Sawyer.
Hi.
So, hey Jamie. Hey Sandy.
Hi, Jamie.
Sandy is new to my channel. So we have a few coming in already. We have Maya, we have Frank, we have Fatima, and we have Sandy. So thanks guys for being here. Jamie, I already said to you backstage anyway, but you know anyway because I've been messaging you with excitement every time I got notification of them getting closer. But I'm ecstatic. So thank you very much for these beautiful tiles. They're just incredible. I can't wait to play with them properly.
I'm just glad that they got to you quick.
Yes, because as I'm sure you remember, the first time when I ordered this first copy of your SAWYER Redux tarot, I hadn't realized there was different shipping options. I think I was new to ordering from abroad back in the day, and I didn't realize there was different shipping prices, you know. And I think I chose the most expensive one, and it was with USPS, and it literally, from what I remember you telling me, went all over the world, but come to Ireland, and it was just the most stressful thing ever. And I remember the first message you sent me. So the question is, do you want a refund? I was like, no, I want the deck. Because I was so obsessed with the deck reviews that I'd watched and, you know, pictures on your Instagram and stuff, and I just couldn't cope. But anyway, as you know, I ordered a second one, and eventually they both came to me. I ordered the cheapest. I used the cheapest shipping, and it came to me straight away, which was incredible. So yeah, I've remembered that.
That's normally what I tell people is if you're abroad to just do the international economy, because it basically, that's what they do, you know. The tracking isn't as great, but it does get there faster.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because the tracking did disappear, all right, probably a good week, maybe a bit more. But you see, I know at least now that when the tracking stops completely, I know it's in my country. But it's just going to take longer then to get from Dublin to me because fucking customs and everything. It's just, oh my God, it's so it's the most stressful thing to order something from America. Maya says, lovely to see the person who created the deck I have. Yes. So I need to explain that. So when you when you were starting the Kickstarter again for it, Maya had said that she wanted a copy of the regular sized one, but I had the backup deck. So I said, look, how about I give you the regular sized one and I'll get the mini. So we did a swap. So she gave me the money to order the mini and I gave her the full size one, which was great now because seeing as it didn't fund this time, it just means that she has her deck and she's done her review and everything. She did an amazing review on her channel. Yeah. So we're all excited. We all have our deck.
I will do a reprint. It's just like right now with the election here in America, I don't even want to get into it. And with just the Kickstarter and being close to holiday season, I just did the funding goal way too high. Normally it wouldn't have been a big deal, but I was like, I'll just do a pre-order because it is a second printing. It's the first time I've ever done anything that was a reprint as a Kickstarter. So since it is a reprint, I didn't take into account the amount of people who already have it. So I was just like, oh, everybody wants it, but
yeah,
I'll do a reprint. That's why I'm just going to do the pre-order through the website because then I'll just know.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I'll be getting the mini anyway as soon as that comes back because
I like the smaller ones too.
I have become obsessed with minis. I got a couple there recently and I was like, oh my God, I can shuffle these properly. So I know briefly the story I've heard a few times of like the fact that you you still are attached arts, but that I know you said because you were being asked to do so many tarot tattoos that's how you ended up learning tarot yourself. So how long ago was it then that you started creating your own decks?
Well, I've been into tarot longer, like probably since the early 2000s, but I didn't really start I was so focused on learning to tattoo that I didn't have a lot of room for anything else. But I had already, my mom's always been witchy, so I've always had the oracle decks and stuff like that. But it wasn't until I started getting an influx of tattoo requests that I was like, oh, maybe I would like to see what it looks like if I drew the Queen of Swords, which was my card. And so I drew her a tattoo, and then I drew the Queen of Cups as a mermaid. And then I was like, okay, did I just start drawing a deck? And that was in 2016. And so that was Sawyer's Path. And that was the first deck that I started to create. And I never, ever back then, almost 10 years ago, would be here now where I'm like, oh, I've created this many, it was just something that helped me learn how to learn the tarot better because I learned through doing. And I when you draw something, you have to really take into account the symbols that are important to everybody or the color schemes or, and so even though Sawyer's Path was my first deck, it kind of strayed a lot from the classic RWS so then my next deck was okay, well, people want this has to be this or this has to be in there. Not that it has to be in there, but to honor the things that we've learned. So it's funny the full circle. So now working on my newest deck, I'm like, okay, the colors, I want it to feel similar, but not always be the same. It's been wild.
So 2016. And then when did you start doing the tiles? How did that come about, actually creating tiles?
So the tile sets started out through Lenormand. So that was probably so the first sets was 2017, 2018. I had learned about Lenormand. I had just finished drawing my Lenormand deck. And the idea that Lenormand is meant to be read all at once, all 36 cards, I was like, well, how can I do that in a smaller setting that's not going to take up a whole table because we didn't have a lot of space. And I was also playing with resin. I was making resin jewelry at that time. I was taking tattoo needles that were expired, not used, just ones that I didn't, and I would take them apart and I would create designs and take the needle and make it into like a fan and then cast it in resin with crystals and make
Oh,
these pendants and stuff out of it. And so I was like, I bet I could make these cards, the images into resin. And so I started doing that. And then like I would do the resin, but when you had like the mold and you put the card in upside, so the face was down, when you would
yeah.
unmold it, there would be bubbles, tons and tons of bubbles, because you couldn't, I didn't know how to make it to where I couldn't trap the bubbles in the resin. I was
Yeah.
very new with playing resin. Now
Yeah.
I could do it, and I was like, there's gotta be a different way. So then I was talking to my husband, and then I found like wooden blanks, and I started to like wood burn them by hand. And
Wow.
then I would glue, I would print out the Lenormand deck and I would glue it. So the first set, hold on one second, I'll be right back.
No
This is
bother.
my
I'm glad you like your deck, Maya.
you would think I would have been prepared. Here we are.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
Don't worry, guys. I will show you some of the tiles in a minute. I have my favorite 20 put out next to me.
So my first set was this big,
Oh,
but they were, because they were in those things, so you can see
yeah.
the way the mold is. So I had done like, I'm going to do the backs of the cards and the fronts of the cards, but I don't think you can see all the bubbles in there. Probably not.
No, no.
And then they're like really wonky and like not uniform, And so then my brain started going, well, how can I improve on this? And so that's when I got the wood, and I was like, oh, I could. At that time, I was like learning the astrological correspondences. So I was like, I'm going to wood burn all the astrological correspondences on the backs of the tiles. And then
Wow.
it's just how my brain was going. And so then I could do that on the backs, and then I would put the sticker face up, and then I can control the bubbles. So it's all because of bubbles, right?
Yeah.
And then we ended up buying a laser and buying, and so then it's like become way more streamlined so that we can offer them to more people. Doesn't take me 10 hours to make a set anymore. It takes a few days for the process of things, but it doesn't take it would take me 10 hours from start to finish to make a whole set,
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's not counting resin curing time. So yeah, it was a lot.
There's Jamie's website, guys, for you all to check out all her different decks and tiles. But I actually went on the website this morning just to make a list of all, before I show the ones I have, to make a list of all the tiles that you do have available. So there was the Pam A tiles, the Sawyer Redux. So I have the hexagonal ones, which Jamie shortens to HEX-TILES, which I think sounds cool. But there's also rectangular ones. There's the Sawyer's Lenormand, I'm not sure of the pronunciation of that word, but anyway. Sawyer's Path Tarot, Spirit Keeper's Tarot. The mandala major arcana tokens look really cool. They might be another one I'll have to get, I'd say, because they're quite large, aren't they, by the looks of it?
Yeah, they're
and they're circular. Are they? Okay.
They come with a little stand.
Oh, I love the look of them too, yeah. The Honey Hive Lenormand, Sawyer's Nature Portal Oracle, the Nested Tarot, Out of Hand Tarot, and Pocket of Peers. So that's all the ones I could see anyway. So there's quite extensive selection now of tiles you have available. They're awesome. So I want to show you these, lads. These are the cutest things ever. So I just have a few picked out. So here, for example, is hey Karen. Here, for example, is the sun card on a tile. Look at the backs first, lads. The back is just stunning. So there's the same mandala that's on the back. I'm still getting used to where the camera is. It's ridiculous.
It's backwards on here.
Oh, stop. I've been doing lives for over a year and I still hold everything the wrong way. So can you see that properly, lads? Is that in focus? So here on the back, the mandala is lasered onto the wood. and the sigil in the middle with Jamie's initials, which is really cool. And then you can see the beautiful little image of the card. And it's all nice and shiny from the resin over it. They're just beautiful. So that's the sun. Now, like I said, I'm not going to show you the whole, and look, just to show you the size difference, right? Oh my God, right, I'm going to do it this side. So here's the card, and here's the little tile. So they are just amazing. I love the shine off them. The color of the wood behind the card for the borders is just beautiful. Who else do we have? I thought there was someone else in. So yeah, that's just for a little comparison, so you know what size there. We have the Magician, the Star card, and my absolute favorite card of all time, as everyone knows, Death. I love the Death card. I love all the scary cards, I love the Tower as well, and I love the Ten of Swords, and because they're all endings and kind of getting ready for new beginnings, and leaving room for new beginnings, moving on from stuff that no longer serves us and that kind of thing, Ten of Swords, and I love the smell. Oh, I love smelling stuff. Five of Swords. Six of Swords. Look at that. The Tower has been popping off on everyone's lives this week, has it? Wow.
Don't love that.
I think we're are we in a new moon, or is it about to?
Yeah, today is the new moon. Yeah.
Is it today? I thought so, because I was saying to Jamie before we started the live, I woke at 2 a.m, so I'm awake for what? I don't know, a very long time now. I slept for about a half an hour at lunchtime, but I was on the phone to my mother a while ago, and she says, "Oh God," she goes, "What's that now? Is it the weather? Is it the moon?" I said, "It's probably the bloody moon. It usually is." I had a feeling there was a new moon due. There's my 8 of Cups. Aren't these just gorgeous, lads? Oh my God. And like Jamie, the mandala in the background with the astrological symbols and everything. Oh, Jesus. They're just to die for. Do you know, it's incredible, right? Now, I'm not going to go into prices and stuff on this, right? You have the link here to the website, so you can go check stuff out yourselves, right? But I ordered these. I had money put away in a money box, and I borrowed some of it to order these, right? But the money then that I got from my boss from the job that I left a few weeks ago, wasn't it almost exactly the same? Like, I absolutely manifested it. You know, it was just so cool. Karen says the full moon does it to me. Yeah. I mean, I'd often be all over the place with the full moon too, but I don't know. Now, of course, Halloween last night too could have been it, I suppose, as well, you know. And my age, as I always tell people. Someone asked me today, have I had my hormone levels checked and whatnot? So maybe I should do all that business. I don't know. The joys, huh?
Oh yeah, I'm always hot. Always.
Yeah. Well, actually, yesterday, I'm sure my husband thought I was losing the plot yesterday, because I went downstairs in the morning. I said, "Oh my God, it's freezing," and I had this big red thing on me, and I was telling them close windows, and I was getting blankets and the whole lot. And about an hour later, I had a shower, and I was absolutely sweating, and I was like, "Jesus, will you open them windows?" And he was looking at me like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, you crazy person?"
Tim's getting used to it. He's like, "Are you warm?" I'm like, "I don't know. I have no idea."
Wait 5 minutes, I'll tell you again.
Yeah. It's like, it could be, it might be. I said, if you're cold, it's probably cold.
Yeah. Hey, Lottie B. Look at them, lads. I just can't go. I love the fact that, like, you know, the extra bit, obviously, at the sides of these, because they're hexagonal. I mean, did you kind of spend a good bit of time kind of just trying to imagine what else would be outside the framework of the original image? Like,
yeah, I had to go in and draw that on, like, just extend it for all of them. And then I wanted it to look like it wasn't just, like especially on that one, because I was like, oh, okay, well, it would be another archway or it would be another this, or,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
landscapes were easier. It was the ones like the
Okay.
sun with the brick wall. Okay, it's going to have more sunflowers or.
Yeah. Cool. Oh, I'm so glad they're finally here. Mind you, I did have them next to my bed last night. Maybe I was dreaming of tarot cards. I was asleep. Who knows? Well, for the couple hours that I did sleep, I should say. What does it look like to have all 78 stacked? Quite tall. Karen, I don't know if you were in when you saw the bag. I had this bag a few years ago, and actually, I only noticed yesterday. I only noticed yesterday that there's a J for Jackie. Hello, and for Jamie. But I got that a few years ago off my boss, the same boss from work. She's given me loads of bags over the years, right? And I'm not a bag person, but since I started learning tarot, it'll be 9 years now in January. All the bags she's gotten me have gone for tarot decks. They're all perfectly suited for different tarot decks I had. But I had used this one for different tarot decks, and they just didn't kind of suit. But I was going through everything yesterday. I was like, I have to find something for my tarot tiles, and they're absolutely perfect in it. So I was delighted to have something just to put them into to get shuffling and whatnot. I love the Five of Pentacles. I know it's a card, obviously, that's all kind of doom and gloom, but I don't know. I like the fact that it's pointing out that the help is right there and that people just need to learn to ask for help, I just had a few out from each suit. Love the Five of Wands too. I often think of the Five of Wands as just us all up in our head kind of fighting with ourselves. More so than, obviously it can be arguing with others and that kind of thing, and I had to pull out the Queen of Wands. I'm Queen of Swords too, but I just love Queen of Swords, I think, or Queen of Wands, I should say. I made up a oh my god, court card cheat sheet recently, and a few of the words that I heard from kind of YouTube over the years, or that I read in people's tarot books, was that the Queen of Wands is either the entrepreneur or the witch of the deck. So I love her. I don't have a black cat, but I am as good as a broom. It is so cool, Gigi. I'm completely obsessed with these.
I went the witch route on in out of hand tarot for the Queen of Wands, because I was like, how am I going to draw that card from the hand perspective,
Yeah.
And then I think it was my friend Jenna was like, well, she's often witchy too. And sometimes when I'm in that creative mode, I get too lost in the keywords and not what I really know about them. And so I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. So I was like, from this perspective, she's going to be somebody who's getting ready to conjure. So she might have her shelf above her with her potions and bottles. And then the cat was sitting on the shelf, and so I was able to like really pull those in, but I just needed the keyword of like, well, she's the witch of the deck. I'm like, oh, yeah.
I have, everyone listening knows this anyway, but I have had so many, I have bought other decks that are kind of not completely RWS based over the years, but I always end up just selling them on because I'm just so obsessed with the original Rider-Waite-Smith imagery. So when I found yours, I was just, besotted. And it's funny because when I started learning, now the lads know this story, but I accidentally really ordered a tarot deck in January 2018. I had Googled animal oracle decks. I was looking, I had a notion I wanted an animal deck, and I saw beautiful images and I ordered the deck, and afterwards I realized, I was like, oh, this is 78 cards, it's not an oracle deck at all. So I was like, I know nothing about tarot, so a few days later, it's gas, I was sitting in the car at school waiting for children, and I was reading a Kyle Gray book, the Scottish angel expert. I was reading one of his books, and someone had asked him in a story how he would get guidance for his own life. He didn't know what kind of route he wanted to go down and whatever. So Kyle told him to ask Archangel Michael and Archangel Gabriel for guidance. So I sat there and I said, right, archangels, I said, I ordered a tarot deck. I know nothing about it. I need to find someone to teach me tarot because I didn't have a clue if there was anyone in my town who did tarot or anything. And about 5 minutes later, Jamie, I was talking to someone at school and I was talking about angel classes that I was signing up for. And she said, are you into all that spiritual stuff? I said, I am, yeah. I said, I just ordered a tarot deck. And she says to me, oh my God, I'm fully certified tarot teacher and reader. And I was like, what the hell? And about a week or two later, she did a tarot workshop for me and a couple of friends. And I was hooked. But I remember her telling me before she did it, she said, you have to order a Rider-Waite-Smith deck. You should really learn from the Rider-Waite-Smith. And then she said, once you know that, you can use anything, you know. But I remember I ordered the Radiant White. No, not. Was it the Radiant Wise? It was a very colourful one anyway.
Yeah, it's the Radiant.
But I still just did not like the imagery. I didn't like the RWS. For the first couple of months, it pained me to have to look at it. And
I didn't have, I think my first tarot deck was actually the Morgan Greer.
Oh, yeah, I know it.
Because I was like, I mean, I'm aware of, the Rider-Waite deck. I have a lot of them, but I was never as into it. Mine's the only one I use. It's the only one I like, So I get it. I was like, I like the images. I want to like the images. There's something about it. I just don't, and so, but I was the same way. I was like, okay, I want to learn the images. I want to learn the symbolism in it. I want to understand why for over 100 years, it's been such this lasting body of work, and so.
I suppose, my friend Anne kind of like made me understand the importance of it, like you said, because it was around for so long. So I just got it to kind of please her because that's what she wanted to teach with in the tarot workshop, But it was, I mean, a few months went by, but I think that's probably then when I found your one, and I was just mesmerized. And I ordered it and I didn't look back. And now I have loads of different. Now I feel like I want every different version of RWS, But anyway, I have all sorts of ones. Gigi says, Morgan was my first deck too, Jamie. Yeah. I think I even got that at 1.2, possibly. Are the court cards kind of close-ups of the face?
Yeah, a lot of them are. Yeah. That was the deck that you can tell was heavily influenced my first tarot deck of Sawyer's Path, because Sawyer's Path is very bold colors, no borders. The court cards are very like in your face. Like it's, that was, since that was the deck I was so used to working with, that was the deck that I had kind of modeled my mind from. But
right, okay. Yeah. I always say to people, if people are showing me decks where the images are kind of up too close, and for me, like I always say, no, I need lots of image. I need lots of things to come flying at me, That's awesome, crazy how the universe works. Oh, absolutely. It was just amazing.
Well, what is it? When the student is ready, the teacher appears?
Yes. Yeah. Most definitely. Because even and again, the lads know this, but my mother always talked about over the years how her mother used to read cards. Now I assumed it was tarot. It was only a couple of years ago I found out that it was actually playing cards. But she said she used to have a queue out the door and down the street, and she said some people were so freaked out by what she used to tell them that they'd never come back to her. She said she was so busy all the time, like it's just amazing. Unfortunately, I was only 3 when she died, because I remember saying to my mother, is there any decks around maybe somewhere that she would have had, But she said no. My granddad, when for whatever reason, people are mad, I know, but he burned everything when she died, So if there was anything, they would have been gone anyway, But it would have been cool to have something from my grandmother, for sure. What can you do? I got the Witch's Tarot from the James Bond film. What?
That's cool.
My God. This is so cool. It absolutely is. So I know on Instagram you are working on another deck, but do you have any other plans as well, or do you want to just tell us a bit about your new deck? I've been seeing the pictures anyway so far.
So my new deck is the Felt Tarot. I know. It's a very groundbreaking name. I wish I try. I don't. I'm like, well, it's made of felt, so it's a felt
Exactly. Yeah.
tarot deck,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what I do is I just finished yesterday the Two of Cups. All the artwork is done. I've finished all of that, but I haven't completed all the panels yet. So basically, I draw the card in. Sorry if that's shaking. I draw the card in my app, my Procreate
Right.
app. And so then I get like, this is the digital version.
Oh, wow.
And so then I
Cool.
make it out of
Huh?
felt.
Oh,
And then the
wow.
cards, I'm still trying to figure out the best way to, like, I've been scanning them, but I think I'm going to try a different setting where I, instead of scan them, I take a photo under lighting so that it's just a brighter, because the scan for some reason has been dulling the fabric. I think it's too high def. So
Okay.
I need to just, yeah, and the full card is my beloved Barney, who
Okay. Oh,
unfortunately passed last month. But
was that
so
all?
these,
Oh,
yeah, so the cards, sorry, they're shiny. It's because they're
that's right.
laminated,
Yeah.
but they just look, there's a human element to the felt scan. It feels more like it feels like I made it, whereas like the
Yeah.
digital version is really cool, and that's what the tiles will be made of, because they'll look better as, they'll look better in such a smaller scale. But like, so here's the digital version, but then there's just something about the shadows that's casted by the texture of these cards. So
Right.
I'm still
Yeah.
trying to figure out how I'm going to bring them into, but this is going to be my next deck, and is also I have 32 more to make.
Okay.
So they're like, you can
That
see
is
there's
so
actually,
cool.
so the Two of Cups to me is my spell card in a deck. Like for the
Okay.
last few decks that I've been doing, it's the spell card, because me and my husband have been trying to purchase a home for the longest of times. Since we've been together, we've had issues or whatever. And now we're literally a month, 4 weeks from today from closing on the house that we
Wow.
are renting, on this house,
Yeah.
and this is my house.
Okay.
And in the Two of Cups in the Out of Hand Tarot, it's a picture of our hands with coffee mugs and a signed contract. And in the background, there's
Oh.
a home in the woods, so I've always used that card as like our spell card of manifesting
Oh, I
this.
love it.
So this
Yeah.
is that's why this is hanging out here in my living space and not in the
Oh,
bedroom with
yeah.
all the others. But so it's my current project. This is consuming all my time right now.
I love how creative you are, though. Just the fact that, now I don't know if anyone has done anything like tarot tiles before. I've never seen anything like them, but the fact that you have so many actual regular decks, but then you went and made the tiles, and now you're trying something different. It's just so cool. I wouldn't even have the patience to think about creating something, to be honest with
My
you.
brain never stops. So you said you love, what's your favorite card of a deck?
Death.
Death. Okay, let me
I
find.
love death.
So the death card I have done out of felt. And that's in the other room, but I can show you where are you? There it is.
Oh, wow.
So, and it has in the bottom, you can see the nod to the Rider
Oh,
Waite, how it
yes.
has that in the background, and then it still has
Yeah.
the skull and the sickle. And then I have, let me find where the camera is. I have, the Tudor
Oh, yes.
rose there, and then I have like a little clock, like time waits for no one, and so I
Cool.
still try and keep some of the symbols from Rider
Symbols.
Waite in my
Yeah.
decks,
Yeah.
That's
That
that.
is cool. Oh, I love that big sickle. Cutting away all the crap.
Cutting it all away.
Yeah, I think I think it's because, like, since I started learning tarot, um, I've just done so many other things over the spiritual things over the years too. Since I started learning tarot, you know, I've done like I did a shamanic drum making day with a shaman. I've done rapé with him. I've done all sorts of classes and workshops and all sorts. So I think I'm just constantly building on my spiritual side. So I think that's why the death card is so important to me, because it's all change. It's all kind of bettering yourself and becoming more connected and stuff. And I always feel even more connected to the cards all the time. You know, I've had some amazing readings with people over the years. Like, I was, again, the lads have heard this story, but it's a quick one, so I'll fly through it. I was only learning about a month, and I was teaching a neighbour as well. She's a hairdresser, and at the time she was working from home. So she texted me one night, and she said, "Are you at home?" I said, "I am." She said, "Are you free?" I said, "I am." She said, "Will you come over and do a reading for a client of mine? I've just finished her hair, and she's never had a reading. She'd love one." I said, "Look, you know as much as I do." I said, "Why don't you do it?" And she goes, "Oh God, no." She goes, "I wouldn't have the confidence." So I says, "Boil the kettle," and I went over and she put down the mug of tea. So at the time, I was completely obsessed with no one touching my cards. So she said to me, "What are we going to do?" I said, "I'll shuffle the cards, I'll spread them out. You pick 3. We'll do a past, present, future, and I'll read them for you." So I let her pick the 3 cards. That was it. But it was, I'll never forget it, because it was the 9 of Pentacles, RWS, obviously, 9 of Pentacles, 6 of Swords, and the Hermit card. So I said, "That's weird." And my friend says, "What?" I said, "You were kind of living the life of Riley, you know, lap of luxury with the 9 of Pentacles, all the clothes and the abundance and everything. But I said, with the 6 of Swords, you're moving away from that." And my friend says to me, "Do you not know who she is?" And I says, "No, sorry." And she said, "She's so-and-so's wife. Her husband was well known in his career line. But they broke up 3 years ago." Hey, Hershey. They broke up 3 years ago, but they separated amicably, and he was still looking after her, and she was still in the house, and blah, blah, blah. He was looking after her financially and stuff. So I said, "Well, look, these cards are telling me," I said, "that you need to move away from him." I said, "Because you can't live the rest of your life living under him, you know." I said, "It's great with your friends, but I said, you need to go and do your own thing and figure out who you are." And I said, the Hermit card in the future is a big sign that you need to have some introspection and figure yourself out, you know. And she was what I mean, I'd never met her before, I'd never seen the woman before, but she seemed quite a shy, introverted person, you know. And since then, she obviously took my advice, because she's out all the time and she's involved in everything in the community, and she's actually amazing in the same line of work that he is, but now just in her own right, you know. So it was just incredible to see the change in her, and she was like obviously well impressed with the reading. And a few times now since, when I've had tarot classes, and I'd always send her the information, because there was one I was doing last month, and I invited her, and she said, when she contacted me, she said, "I'd love to do it, but I'm just out of hospital or something." And she said, "I can't." But she said, "Will you let me know of further events?" So anytime I have classes or workshops or anything, I let her know, you know. So it was just amazing to see her come out of herself after the reading, you know. And something so simple. It was only 3 cards read. It was only 10 minutes, you know.
But it sounds like it gave her permission. You know, it's like kind of like she needed to hear it from somebody who had no idea who she was.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like,
true too.
yeah.
Yeah, she could have easily, I suppose, had friends and family telling her.
Yeah, she'd be like, "This person doesn't know me."
Yeah.
The cards don't know me. She picked the cards. It wasn't like you were like, "Oh, I'm going to put these here so she can pick them." Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
I like to do an exercise every month where I have a digital tarot tracker on GoodNotes on my iPad. And every day I pull a card for the day, and I will literally just whatever pops to mind. It could be 1 to 3 words, you know.
Yeah.
And at the end of the month, I take all the little words and I make it into a month reading for me.
Oh,
and you know,
cool.
you string it together, or you like just kind of fill in key phrases, like, you know, if one day was the death card and it's change. And then the next day was like the two of swords and it's think about it. So it would be like change the way you think about things, you know, like just kind of
Okay.
streaming it like
Make a
that.
story. Yeah.
Yeah, like make a story out of
Wow.
it. And when I tell you, I had, when I had my Patreon, which was a couple years ago, I would do it every month. And every month I was still surprised. So I've started doing it again the past 6 months. I've been doing it. And every month again, I'm like, because when you're in it, you're trying to be like, oh, well, this is what it means. But when you go back and you look at it from a huge perspective, it's like a great way to like see how the cards can relate to your daily practice, you know?
Yeah.
And you do it and you get that message and you're like, well, if that didn't sum up October, I don't know what did, you know?
Yeah.
And just like, it's wild.
That sounds like something I could do, because some of the lads here in chat, who they all have their own channels, they're all tarot readers themselves, and a lot of them talk about journaling, and it's one thing I just cannot do. I've been given lovely journals. Do I sit down and write anything? No. My brain remembers the important readings, like that one now from nearly 7 years ago, you know? And I still remember every word of it and the cards and everything. So, and even when I watch YouTube videos, I remember things about the cards that people say that make sense to me, and they're stored automatically in the database in my brain, you know. But journaling is just something I can't get myself to do. But what you're saying there now, just writing down a couple of words every day, sounds like something to do.
I don't know if we'll be able to see this or not, but let's see. So it's literally just a calendar, and I just import a picture, and then on each day, you know, so on the first was the 10 of cups, and I wrote, we're fulfilled, things are looking up. And then I put like a little blue dot for that's the cups. And so at a glance, you can see, oh, the month was very cups heavy because I see a lot of blue dots, you know.
So tell me, what do you do that in? Is that an app, or what's it called again?
It's GoodNotes.
GoodNotes.
GoodNotes is an app that they have. You can use it. They have it for, if you have an iPhone, they have it on iPhone, and they have it on iPads. But you could even, there's also like Notability or any PDF reader. I think there's Zoto. I think there's Notebook. I don't know. I use GoodNotes. GoodNotes, it's like maybe $20 US. It's amazing. I'm not sponsored, but I have literally recommended it to everybody. And I can send you the template that I use. I'm actually going to make a new one, but I have one that it's got the Rider-Waite backdrops on some of them, but it's just the calendar.
Cool.
Yeah.
That looks really cool. That is something now that I could do.
And that's because there's parts of me that's like, I'm going to journal and I'm going to do that. And I don't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I want to. There's a part of me that really wants to, but I won't, you know.
Yeah,
so this is
same. And did you say at the start, you said the Queen of Swords is your card, so are you Libra, yeah?
I'm Gemini, but but it does. It's probably more King of Swords, but I do resonate with the Queen of Swords. You know, it's actually, according to Mary Greer's Tarot for Yourself, the court card that I am associated with is actually the Knight of Swords, which does actually make sense.
Okay.
But because I'll get caught up in a mental tornado before I actually think things through, you know. So I there's times where you can literally look and you can embody all of the courts at any given time. But I do sit in the swords a lot.
I know, like I'm Libra, you see, which is Queen of Swords card, what I've learned anyway. But I'm Virgo rising, and I do think I resonate more with Virgo, especially when I watch readings, you know. But Virgo then is Knight of Pentacles, which makes sense because that to me would link in with procrastination, which I'm quite good at.
It's funny. My friend Erin is she's been studying astrology for a really long time, and she did my chart. And I always say that the card that I am actually in the deck, when I did Pocket of Peers, my card is the 8 of Pentacles.
Okay.
I am constantly prototyping. I am constantly in a state of manufacturing, making, you know, it makes sense for me.
Yeah, it does.
And so she does my chart, and my 10th house is Virgo. So she's like, which is the Virgo, and she was looking at the way of the lunations, and she's like, oh yeah, well, because you have the 8 of Pentacles in your 10th house with the deacons and all, and I'm like, that makes sense. So my house of work is the actual 8 of Pentacles. So I was like,
Okay,
okay.
right, okay. See, I don't even know what's in the 10 houses, so I was,
Yeah, I know.
but I assumed when you said that it made
So
sense that the 8 of Pentacles is in it.
the 10th house is like your house of work and
Okay,
career.
right.
And so she was like, well, it's Virgo. And she goes, but where the deacons are, like, even though my son's not in there, she's like, it's your midheaven. It's like, she said all sorts of astrobabble that I don't
Yeah.
understand. But she goes, but it's the 8 of Pentacles. And I was like, well, that makes sense, you know?
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's amazing.
It's always good to get the affirmation, you know?
What's the, oh, yeah, okay. Karen just said, haha, Jackie, I think I have a month or so to go before I start charts. Yes. Karen is learning astrology, so she'll be finished in, I know you had said November, wasn't it, Karen, if I remember correctly? So, yeah. Very exciting times coming up before Christmas when Karen will be doing charts.
Yay.
So guys, does anyone have any questions for Jamie? Nothing too taxing now, lads, because we have only 15 minutes left. They all know anyway that I like to keep my lives to an hour because I can't cope after an hour. That's too much thinking and talking altogether. But if anyone has any questions, lads, throw them up there and we'll ask Jamie. It got delayed because of Hurricane Helene. Well, oh yes, okay. Okay. Yeah. God, the weather has been mad all over, it seems. There's massive floods in Spain too.
We haven't had rain in over a month. And we
Haven't you?
we usually have rain often. So
We do too here in Ireland. We're kind of known for our rain. But it's been quite dry of late, thank God. So we'll tip wood. Guys, anyone got some questions? Is there anything else you'd like to tell us about Jamie?
Whatever you.
I think I had gone through all my questions, but
No, that's okay.
You have oracles. Yes, she does.
I do. I have an animal oracle. It's a round portal deck. It's called Nature's Portals. And it's 52 cards of sentient beings that, you know, I would see a blue jay and then I would like, okay, that's the card I'm drawing today. And I would draw the blue jay and then stuff like that. So it's very, for people who are from this area, they feel like it's a very Northeast heavy animal deck, which is fine.
Okay. Yeah,
but there are animals in there that I've never actually seen in real life, but they have always fascinated me. Like, you know, there's red panda in there. I needed that in there, but
cool.
Yeah. Oracles are harder for me to draw because there's no structure. Oracle is whatever you want.
Yeah.
So
I do like the structure of
I like structure.
I have a lot of oracle decks, but I prefer the tarot, for that reason. Like, yeah. A few people have asked the same question, so I'll just put up the ones obviously, but they're asking, are you still an active tattoo artist?
I am. Yeah. I tattoo. I have a home studio, so I tattoo by appointment only, and then at this point I'm just taking new clients by referrals. So which is nice, you know.
I have yesterday actually was my friend's anniversary. It was 2015. It was 9 years since he died. I never in my life thought I'd get a tattoo, because if I go for a blood test still and I'm 44, I have to put my arm out there and turn my head that way and close my eyes, and the doctor talks to me like I'm a 5-year-old.
Yep, that's how my husband is, and he's covered. Yeah,
it's terrible. Yeah, I have to lie on the bed like, hey Ange, and Viviane popped in. I have to lie on the bed and the whole lot, like, and I'd be there for 20 minutes afterwards before I can get up without passing out, and you know, this kind of business. So I never in my life thought I'd get any tattoo. And a few years back, you know, the TV show Miami Ink. What's his name?
Tommy James.
Yes. We used to love watching him on the telly years ago, and he came to Cork a few years ago, and the city. Yeah, he opened. Actually, I think he has two. I think he has one in Cork City, but I think he has one in maybe County Kerry or somewhere as well. He has at least two in Ireland anyway. And I remember saying to my husband, "Oh my God, Amy James is in Cork. Take me up to the city to see him." And sure, of course, we went up, and I mean, he probably literally flew in, cut a ribbon, and went off
And
home
then
again.
and went back, yeah.
Realistically, like, but I was weak thinking I was going to meet Amy James. But anyway, but I just remember walking in, and all these American tattoo artists, they looked fabulous. They were all working hard. There was the music going, all the needles going, and I just thought I was going to drop to the floor. I said, Jesus Christ, take me out of here. I thought I was going to pass out. Like, I'm so bad. So yeah, I never thought I'd get a tattoo, but after my friend died, now it was Halloween Day, but it was the following August I got a tattoo. I had been looking at an image online of a beautiful one that I saw. It was simply a figure of 8 with the word. It just had the word love in it. But my friend was African, thought he was a Rastafarian, so I got one love in it with the Rasta colors in one of the words. And then she put these lines out from it just with my husband and kids' names, and it was beautiful. Like, but I got it there, you see, and it was actually it was grand. I mean, it was slightly traumatic, but it was all right. But then I got another one here. That one, oh my God, she was only doing the outline and she wasn't even on the bone. And I went green, and I was half an hour with my head between my legs. It was very bad. And I had eaten a big meal before I went in and everything. I Googled it. I did all the things you're supposed to do and not do the things you're not supposed to do. And, so that one was hard work. And then I have a big sun, moon, and star one here. And then I have this is half a mother-daughter tattoo.
Okay.
Realistically now, I don't think my daughter will get her half because she is so much worse than I am. Jesus, Jamie, she got a a belly button piercing a few months ago, and we were out on the street afterwards. She was across my lap on the footpath, convulsing after fainting and the whole lot. It was horrific.
Piercings are a lot more traumatic. They're just over faster.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't handle piercings well, but the tattoos, it's like, it's all mental, but a piercing can be very traumatic, like a lot of it is mental. It's definitely, there is pain associated, but I always say, well, it's going to hurt as bad as you want it to. And then a lot of times, especially if you built yourself up so much, like, oh my gosh, it's going to hurt, it's going to do this, I'm going to be this way and this. When you actually feel it and it just feels like a scratch on a sunburn and your body goes, well, that's it. Oh, no, we're going to pass out, because I was prepared to pass out. So I've seen that. And then usually the person just needs to get it out of their system and then they're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah, maybe there's hope for her. So when I got this one done, I also had a runestone reading, and I had 4 letters, and then she drew, oh, good God. Hold on. She put them together to make a sigil for me.
Nice.
There we go. So I have what I like to call my Viking stickman.
That's cool. That's very neat. Yep.
So, because my maiden name is Cotter, it's a Norse name, apparently. It came from Vikings. So I just thought it was cool that when she put them together, it was a Viking stickman. It's just so cool.
It's perfect. Yeah.
So that was just as special as all the rest. But it was just amazing, the fact that I never thought I'd have tattoos. And I went, now, having said that, if I'd gotten this one first, I may not have gotten
You wouldn't have gotten any more. Yeah. For sure.
It's like with my babies, if I had the epidural and the emergency C-section first, I mightn't have had any more children. But anyway, I survived it. Now, this one was, I don't know if you do it. It was hand poking, it was called. It wasn't electric. No, okay.
It takes too long.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to do anything that takes that long.
That one I actually enjoyed.
Yeah.
It seems very popular now. I'm just going to stick up some. It seems very popular now to new witches, very colourful tattoos. Sandy, where in the world are you? Oh, I think you probably told me already in YouTube comments, did you? I can't remember. Remind me. Sandy literally it was during the night when I was awake watching someone's YouTube that Sandy subscribed to my channel. So I can't even remember what we discussed, to be honest with you, Sandy. Totally Sandy tattoos and so much better now. Yeah, I love my tattoos now. I'm so glad that I did get that first one,
Yeah.
Because I'm obsessed. Karen says, I love that, Jackie. Beautiful. Thanks, lads. They're all meaningful to me, you know. I mean, obviously the feather one was just because, again, I'd seen the image online, I thought it was beautiful, and I kind of chose my own colors in that. And this one, then the sun, moon, star one, my daughter drew, and he tattooed, and he put her signature into it and stuff, you know. So I love that. Yes, no longer.
People still get them, but
yeah,
not as much. I don't do a lot of that, just because I get my client base is predominantly women and probably my age and older. You know, I have some people that are younger, but it's fewer and far between. Like if I get anybody under 25, it's usually because their family member has gotten tattooed by me or their parent.
Oh,
you know, it's not.
Yeah.
Because I've been
recommendations. Yeah.
It's been 22 years, so a lot of the newer kids, I've been doing it longer than they've been alive. So they'd rather go to somebody who's 18 or 19, you know, which is fine.
Yeah, yeah. The only thing is I'd prefer myself to go to someone older with a bit more experience. You know what I mean? But I mean, I can understand, obviously, people have to learn too, like, but, you know.
I get it.
Oh, that was a yes to the C-section, by the way, Lalo. Okay. I get you. Right, lads, if no one has any other questions, I'm going to leave Jamie go, because Jamie is very busy, obviously, with all the different things she does.
All the things.
Yeah. Plus the house and the whole lot. And my bed is going to be calling me soon enough. Yes, that's right, Sandy. I remember now you said Devon. Yes. So she's only across the pond, as we say. It's 7 p.m. I don't know how long now I'm going to survive. But I see the problem is with being awake half the night is if I go to sleep too early, I'm going to have the same thing tonight. I'm going to be awake again.
Wake up.
I need to try to stay awake. I need to find some. Does anyone have a live actually that I could pop over to? I wonder. This was lovely, great live. Thank you. You're very welcome, Karen. Delighted everyone was here and enjoyed it.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. I actually, I know it was about a month ago. I think I asked you maybe, but when I knew the deck was coming or the tiles were coming very close, I got it in my head. I was like, if I could get her now to get on the live and do a live unboxing. But then when I knew it was coming yesterday morning, I was like, feck it, it's Halloween. That's not going to work anyway. So I said I'd chance my arm with asking you to do it today. So it was still perfect timing anyway, because it's new and it's just so bloody exciting, and I couldn't wait to talk to you about them. So thank you so much, Jamie. You're the best.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. I shall see you very soon. I'll do a live again, hopefully over the weekend, because I have no work. So I'll have time to do stuff. And I could do readings with my new tiles. That's a good idea. So I shall schedule that. So thank you, everyone, for being here. You're the best. Bye. I'll see you soon. End stream.